Hello, sewing people of the internet. This is embarrassing, but for years, many years now, my wife and I have carried the couple of cooking knives that or like steak knives or whatever, that we bring with us camping in some balled up aluminum foil. And that's not ideal. It's not safe. Don't do that. So I finally have had enough and have the chance to make something. So I'm going to make a little knife roll to hold these knives. This will be a relatively quick project. I'm not going to give you any measurements because your knives might be different or you might have a different number of them. But it's basically just a little flappy tool roll thing. So should be pretty simple. For material, I'm using some really junky, cheap fabric that I bought at Walmart years ago just to experiment with and use for things like this. And I have this little piece of thin leather. I'm going to sew that where the tips of the knives are going to be, just to provide a little bit of protection to hopefully keep the knives from easily stabbing their way through this thing. So I took a strip that happened to be 25 inches long, and that happens to work out to be about right for what I'm intending to do. It's wider than I need it to be, but I haven't decided yet. I don't know if I want to make it wide enough to hold, 6 knives, which obviously we don't have. We have 3. These are like leftover older knives, that we had when we bought a new knife set or something. Maybe I'll make it wide enough for 4. What do you think? Okay, 4. First thing I'm going to do is just put a simple double fold hem on the mouth of the opening where the knives are going to be inserted. I'm using the Singer Heavy Duty today with V69 thread. Whatever needle was in the machine. It's one of the needles that came with the machine. Maybe a size 100, I don't know. People often ask what kind of needles I'm using in the project. I generally have no idea, just whatever happens to be in the machine, because I'm good. The tension isn't spectacular on that. I forgot I was sewing some light muslin material on this before and didn't change it, but it'll be good enough for this project. At least it's better now that I've adjusted it. So the next thing I'm going to do is at what will be the bottom where the knife points sit. There's also this piece of leather on. And I'm not going to put a leather needle in or do anything different at all. This is very thin, pretty soft leather, so it should be no issue at all. I'm just going to kind of eyeball the center. Just going to trim off this little bit of excess. Before I sewed the leather on, I marked where I wanted this fold to be by cutting notches on each side. Now I'm just folding it at that notch. And I just clipped it with these binder clips just to hold it in place. And I'll sew that, and that'll make the pocket where the knives live. I'm going to sew a piece of shock cord to act as the closing strap, hopefully. It's probably not the strongest way to sew this on, just sewing across it like that, but I suspect it'll be okay for this. The next step I want to do is put binding all the way around, and to make it a lot easier to do, I'm going to round these corners off. Good enough. I'm going to try using some binding that came with this machine that I've never used. I've used the machine, I've not used the binding that came with it. It's, I don't know, maybe nylon. It's folded, so it's a strip that's folded on each end or each side, and then that gets folded to make the binding. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I don't want to use any of my better stuff on this if I don't have to. It's not really needed, so we'll see how this goes. This might not be the right size folder for this. So I have a 1-inch folder, or a 25mm folder on here, and I think this is a little bit smaller than that. Yeah, this is like 3/4 of an inch. So this probably is not going to work very well, but just for laughs, I'm going to go for it and see. You really need to be using the correct size binder folder for the binding that you're using. Yeah, that's not going to work at all. It's not, the needle isn't even going to contact it. I have to move all this stuff around. So I'm just going to use the other stuff. So I normally use Mil-Spec 4088 binding. Do have some others, some cotton here. That's 1 inch. Let's see. This is just some stuff from like Joann's or something. This might be oh, okay. This might be a terrible idea, but that'll go all the way around. So, all right, let's try this. What the heck? We're just experimenting here, right? Yay! Bent the needle on the leather. I probably need to hand stitch or hand wheel the machine through that. All right. I just realized I needed to leave this open a little bit on the end so I can fold the ends under. So I'll just come back and seam rip a little and do that, and then I'll make sure it's tacked down well. So I just thought I filmed finishing this on this machine, and of course somehow I didn't hit record or something. But I did make a point that I wanted to point out. When I was using my cylinder arm machine over there, I bent a needle, and then this machine, I just sewed over the same area repeatedly back and forth, and had absolutely no issues at all. And that might make one wonder, why did that big heavy-duty industrial machine struggle and this machine did not? And it really doesn't have anything to do with the heavy-dutiness of the machines, but I think because that's a cylinder arm machine and the work is hanging off the edge, that if you're not really careful about how you position it, you can easily deflect the needle and cause it to strike the hook or some other part, and that's where you get bent or broken needles. So that's really user error as much as anything. Obviously that machine is capable of plowing through much heavier stuff than this, but just wanted to make sure that wasn't confusing to anybody. But this machine did great on this. Unfortunately I didn't film it, and I'm not going to make a mock-up to do it again. So do want to point out one little thing. When I folded the binding under, this got misaligned a little bit. If this was a project that I cared deeply about, I would want to undo it and do it again. But it's serving its purpose of covering the raw edge, so I'm going to leave it like it is. But I wanted to admit my flaw. Okay, that was actually a really satisfying, easy project. It might have taken me an hour, and that's filming it. So that takes like 7 times longer than just to do a project. So, but yeah, pretty cool little project actually. If you have a need for something like this, then I encourage you to try it. It might not be knives, maybe you have some woodworking tools or your ice pick collection, or I don't know, a bunch of tongue depressors, whatever you need to put in a roll like this. I don't think I've ever actually gotten around to making a tool roll of this style. It's been one of those things I've thought I should do for a long time, but I might be wrong. I'm getting old and I forget things, but I don't think I've ever done it before. But it's pretty easy, so definitely give it a try. I hope you got something out of that. If you did, you know that you can click like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. I kind of feel dumb telling you that every time, because it's not like most of you have just discovered YouTube for the first time. But clicking like and subscribing is actually a really great way to help me keep doing this. So thanks for doing it if you do. If you have questions or comments, post them in the comments section below. I'll see you in a future video, I hope. Thanks for watching. This makes no sense, but I needed the B-roll.